Yes, guys, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to tonight's live stream. And with the announcement yesterday that the Todd Boehly takeover is officially all done and dusted, the Roman Abramovich era has officially ended after 19 years, 21 trophies, 15 managers, and £2 billion spent. Roman is no longer in charge of the club. And in tonight's stream, we're going to be looking back at the managers in that period and ranking them. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with this. I'm delighted to be joined by Laurenz. Mate, thanks for coming on as always. Roman era officially over now. Change of ownership. It's going to be different things happening, new future for the club, new direction, hopefully same success. When you hear those numbers, though, 19 years, 21 trophies, 15 different managers, over 2 billion spent. I mean, what a couple of decades it's been, eh?
What a couple of decades it's been, honestly. Like, I said this the other day on can't remember what stream it was. I tweeted it as well. Like, I'm excited for the new era, but it's sad that it's come to an end. Obviously, believe who you want to believe, but obviously there was rumors out there that Roman was kind of thinking about or would have considered selling had a valuable offer come in also without everything that happened. So who knows? Maybe it would have come to an end regardless. But the way it did come to an end was just a bit sad. The fact that, yesterday Chelsea sold, today he files a lawsuit against the EU. Mental. But hey, he waited until Chelsea was sold so we can't get into more shit. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's good of him. Now that he's got rid of the club, he's now going to hunt down those that have tried to down him and maybe try and get some of his money back. We'll have to kind of wait and see how that folds out. Obviously, great, most successful period in the club's history. A first Premier League title in 50 years under Roman, five Premier League titles in total, couple of Champions Leagues, couple of Europa Leagues in the mix as well. And fitting that his last trophy was to complete the set by winning the Club World Cup. Obviously, as I said, we've had 15 managers in that time, 12 permanent, 3 caretaker / interim, whatever you want to call it. Mate, we know we've been through a lot of managers, but when you hear the numbers out loud, it's mad to go through 15 managers in 19 years. Like it's ridiculous, really, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Obviously, the caretakers being there for short periods of time make it sound more extreme than it is a little bit, but still, like, it's crazy how many managers we've gone through and how many, like, there's been a few incredible ones, but there's also been a few stinkers.
Mate, there has. I suppose, when you go through that many managers, you're not always going to get it right, and there are going to be some shocking ones, which obviously we will get into. It's not all been great. There has also been some not so great moments as well at the club. But let's take it right back to the start. Then, obviously, Claudio Ranieri, he was there first under Roman. Obviously, he was there for I think 4 seasons in total, actually, but only 1 season under Roman's ownership. Obviously, that win on the last day of the 2003 season at home to Liverpool. I think Jesper Gronkier actually got the winner in that game at Stamford Bridge with a 2-1 win. Got us Champions League football, and pretty much, without an exaggeration, I think it got us Roman, and I think it also secured the future of the club. I think I was reading Frank Lampard's autobiography a few years back, and he was saying that if we didn't win that game, there was a real possibility that Chelsea might not even exist anymore. So, I mean, that point is a big moment in the club's history. Obviously, Roman comes in, buys it from Ken Bates for, I think, 140, 150 million pounds, which it seems madness compared to what he just sold it for now. Ranieri 1 season under Abramovich, though. 2nd place in the league. Obviously coming second to the Arsenal Invincibles. Not really any shame in that. No domestic cups, obviously, and a Champions League semi-final where we unfortunately got knocked out by Monaco over 2-0. We did have that great moment by winning at Highbury in the Champions League thanks to Wayne Bridges'
goal. We were the only team to beat Arsenal that season.
We
also knocked them out of the FA Cup, I think.
Mate, it's a while back. That
otherwise, where would this phrase come from? We're the only team to beat them because they didn't win.
Yeah, mate, it's a possibility. But I mean, Ranieri 1 season, 2nd place in the league, Champions League semi-final, knocked out by Monaco. I mean, ironically, it would have been great if we'd made that final because we would have been up against Jose, his Porto team. I wonder what would have happened then. I mean, if he'd won, we might never have seen Jose at Chelsea. So, I mean, I guess we could be thankful.
Or Roman just might not have hired him because he would have been annoyed at him beating us.
But yeah, then there's also, we go out Champions League semi-final, but I guess Ranieri being sacked, looking back on it all these years later, 2nd place to the Invincibles and a Champions League semi-final, to get the boot to get the boot, it's quite harsh. And I guess it kind of set the tone for things to come. But I mean, I can't remember an awful lot of Ranieri's era, but when you look back on it, that seems a little bit harsh. I think he done all right in all honesty. And I mean, he did bring in the likes of Frank Lampard, Joe Cole signed under Ranieri as well, and Makelele as well. So he did bring in some top players that went on to be.
JT's debut, did he not?
I think he might have done, yeah. Yeah, I think he might have done. So, I mean, a lot to be thankful for Claudio, even if ultimately it didn't really deliver much in terms of silverware. I think he did an okay job. I mean, I'm not asking you to recount a lot by any means, mate, but like from what you can remember and what you've seen in the years previous, I mean, what do you reckon of Ranieri's kind of tenure? Let me just bring the ranking list up on the screen. How do you feel Claudio did?
It's a weird one because obviously we're kind of ranking in Abramovich's era, and that was kind of 1 year of his 4 years. So it's a bit difficult. But I'm not sure if you agree, but I'm just gonna rate his 4 years almost. But
yeah, let's go with that. Because,
like you're saying, it was harsh to be sacked, but because obviously Roman came in and we had now got money, we needed to almost get a manager that, I don't know, was going to be able to handle the egos that were going to come in with the big money. I think it wasn't necessarily a case of, Ranieri, you ain't good at, or you didn't do a good enough job. It's just like, okay, Ranieri, cheers, mate. But we're now getting the guy in that's 30 odd or 35 or whatever Mourinho was when he won the Champions League with Porto. And the special one, as he announced himself in the press conference. So, but yeah, Ranieri, like you say, obviously, whether I'm old enough or not, back then I couldn't even watch things from England, from in Austria, where I'm from. But I've seen, I can't remember, I think it was like extended highlights of that very game you were talking about, that 2002-2003 last season game against Liverpool. I watched that game back where we qualified, or highlights at least, qualified for the Champions League. And that was obviously the decision that helped Roma make the decision to buy us instead of Tottenham, because he basically wanted a Champions League team and we made Champions League and Tottenham didn't. History didn't repeat itself this year, but, in terms of silverware, he certainly made the right choice in that sense. But who knows what silverware they would have had. But yeah, Ranieri, I can't really complain. I'm in this list. I'm going to put him... You know what? Like, I know it sounds a bit crazy now, but I think maybe we should need to put him in very good, because considering he did the whole 2003 thing, coming second, beating Arsenal in the Champions League semi-finals and he brought us to that place before we had Roma's money. So it was much more impressive in a sense before that, if you will. Do you know what I mean? And like RD just said in the comments, he set the foundations. And Jose, obviously you, me, and Python, including Clash, we've discussed a couple of times in the group chat. When Jose, in my opinion, Roman provided the resources and provided Jose himself. But Jose was the guy that turned us into winners. Yeah. But who knows whether that would have been possible without Ranieri. Ranieri got us that Champions League football that we needed. So I think very good is fair. Yeah, no, I think he's done a good job. Just last thing on it, mate. What did you make of that first window under Roman, obviously with Claudio there, with the likes of Mewtwo coming in, Crespo, Veron, Joe Cole, Lampard, Makelele. Mate, I don't think I've ever seen a spending spree like it. It was a madness. It was literally like real life Football Manager, wasn't it? It was exactly that 03 summer and that 04 summer was madness, honestly. Because nowadays there's obviously multiple clubs that have huge money and have every now and again huge windows. But back then, we were kind of one of the first, if not the first, to turn up with big money of investors, of an oligarch or a sheikh. Do you know what I mean? We were the first ones to turn up with that. So everyone was a bit but when you rattle through the names there, I mean, Crespo, we love Crespo, but wasn't that great for us. And Veron really wasn't great for us. Who was the other one we signed that year? Did you say Deco? No, Deco was later, wasn't it? Mewtwo, who later on went and did some coke and got sacked. Yeah. I mean, Mewtwo is still, to this day, up there for the worst ever signings of this football club. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what's mad though? He was actually doing quite well. Maybe it's because he was on coke the whole time he was playing. Maybe. Do you know what I mean? Maybe should have been on Pepsi instead. But I mean, he weren't that bad in all honesty. But yeah, I mean, it was a madness. I mean, not all of them worked out. You look back at someone like Glenn Johnson as well coming in, players like that you don't really
don't really think about. But yeah, I think very good spare for Ranieri. I think done a good job with the resources beforehand, got us that important Champions League football, because without that, none of the following would have even happened. So yeah, I think it's fair to put him in very good. I mean, obviously, we'll move on now, mate. Jose Mourinho comes in 2004 to 2007, his first of 2 stints. Wins the Champions League with Porto. Phenomenal record with Porto in Portugal. Leagues, cups.
Some people don't know that, actually. The season before he won the Champions League with Porto,
Won
he won the Europa League with Porto. Mental.
They beat Celtic in that final. I think it was 3-2 they won in the end. I think it might have been an extra time game or something. But yeah, he won. I think he might have won 2 trebles at Porto, or 1 treble and 1 double. He definitely won the one treble one year. Anyway, he comes in. They win that Champions League final against Monaco like 3-0, I think, convincing. Vintage Jose as well, wasn't it? Like, you see it so many times. Doesn't now you look back at it, you know, when he's leaving somewhere, Champions League with Porto, absolute mad success, like ridiculous achievement. Guy's got his medal straight off. He's down the tunnel. He's already back out on the planning out his next move. We've seen it at Inter Milan. We've seen it at Real Madrid as well now. Kind of become a bit of a trademark for him. But you know, that first, I mean, both his spells really, I know they both ended not on great terms, but, and I know I know me and you love him, and like Pice and that, you know, in the group chat, not so sure, perhaps like a slightly younger fan, etc. But I mean, without Jose, there's like, Chelsea's not what it is today. Do you honestly think he come in and he just transformed the whole club and changed the culture within the club as well, turned it into kind of nearly beans to actual winners?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, not only as a football club, but just the persona he was. You know what I mean? Because obviously I don't and didn't live in England at the time, but everything in England was like, who's that guy? Because obviously everyone was like Sir Alex and Arsene Wenger, you know, the Invincibles the season before. And Jose just turns up and I'm like, excuse me, like, I'm not one of the bottle. I am the special one. Do you know what I mean? Like, first of all, how have you even come up with that? Like, mental. Like, crazy. And considering he not learned English, but a lot of his English vocabulary probably came from Sir Bobby Robson, because he was his translator at Barcelona, wasn't he? As when he was a lot younger. So, like, crazy. But, I mean, Lampard, Drogba, Terry, all these guys spoke so much about how much he helped him in terms of, like, he just told Lampard, you're the best midfielder in the world. And he just kept telling it to him until he finally believed it at some point. And then he played like it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he came second in the Ballon d'Or thing, and I can't remember what the year it was. But
mate, that was the year when Ronaldinho won it. I think it might have been 2005 or maybe 2006. But
one of them two, for sure, yeah. One of them two. And there you go. Like, it just changed everything. Of course, the signings made a huge difference. But also, part of, like, a lot of those signings would have never come if Jose didn't come. Because, I mean, we signed half the Porto team. So,
mate, we did.
We didn't get Jose. We wouldn't have had Carvalho. We wouldn't have had Ferreira.
No Paulo Ferreira.
Probably ever got Deco just because of the Portuguese link. I mean, like, so many of these players. And was it him that made John Terry captain, or was it Ranieri already? I think it might have been Jose, you know.
I think it might have been JT. Not JT. So I think it might have been Jose that made him captain. I'm not sure if he was captain under Ranieri or not. But, I mean, I think Jose might have definitely made him captain. But even look at the other players. You know, obviously you mentioned Carvalho, Ferreira, obviously Arjen Robben coming in, Petr Cech for £7 million, Drogba, £24 million. I know it's big money back then, but you look at these signings, and they were signings that stood the test of time for like 10 years. Well, not all of them, but your likes of your Czechs.
Yeah, Essien as well.
You know, I mean, I don't know, like Wright Phillips, etc. I know Wright Phillips weren't great, but like,
when did he sign? What's his face?
Duff as well. I think Damien Duff joined, or one of those.
But I remember I reckon he might have joined under Ranieri, you know, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I reckon he might have done as well. But, you know, Arjen Robben, and how can we forget the legend Mattia Kesman? A goal machine at PSV, comes to Chelsea. Mate, the guy was mate, we should have learned from then. You know, a striker with a good record comes in, can't score in a blue shirt. Maybe we should have learned from then.
We should have done, mate. Like, honestly, some of the signings we've made, like,
It's
Steve
mad, isn't it?
Sidwell. Do you know that story of how Steve Sidwell signed for Chelsea?
Yeah, mate. He went to Jose's house, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Had dinner and all sorts. Jose's wife making dinner. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Mate, they snuck him in round the back as well. It was mate, some sort of a madness that. But I mean, back on the pitch, mate, I've got to be honest. I must have been about 13 or 14, but I was lucky enough to be season ticket holder for that first 3 years he was there. When I used to live in London. I mean, I didn't appreciate it as much back then as I would now, but the football in that first season, it was phenomenal. Going up against what had just been the Arsenal Invincibles, to break that mould and to win a first Premier League title in 50 years and to also win the League Cup as well. I mean, that first season, what are your thoughts on it? Because some of the football was unbelievable. And the fact that he conceded 15 goals across a 38-game season, I don't think that's ever going to be beaten. I don't think that's an exaggeration to say that.
No, exactly. Like we were... The only annoying thing is, to this day, that we'd never won the Champions League with Jose because we were by far the best team in the whole world that year.
Yeah.
Those two, especially those 2 years, we were so much better than everyone. Like we could defend like no other team has basically ever been able to defend other than Greece in 2004 at Euros. But and some Italian teams, I'm sure, before someone comes at my throat. But like we defended, we attacked, we scored goals. I mean, Drogba didn't even work in the first season, and we still dominated everything and everyone. The first season we won it with 95 points. That record stood until City broke in 2017. I think it was 2017.
10 plus years.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was a long record. I mean, obviously, unfortunate that we lost to. Speak of the devil, Man City that one game 1-0 because otherwise, Arsenal's Invincibles. No one would give a shit if another team did it the season after.
Yeah,
so that's a bit sad that we couldn't quite do that. But.
We only lost one game, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. That 1-0 to City. Yeah.
Fuck's sake. I mean, you look back at that. I mean, that first season, Premier League and League Cup double. How the League Cup gets a bit of a bad rep, etc. But I mean, how important do you think it was, looking back now, that Jose come in and kind of set the precedent that regardless of the trophy, we just need to win as soon as possible? Because I think that League Cup victory in Cardiff, the 3-2, you look back and you think it might not have meant much at the time, but I think it was a key catalyst in giving that squad and that team belief that we can actually go and win things.
100%. Like once you're as a team already winners, I think it doesn't matter that much. But like you say there, and Jose did the same thing, in the second spell.
Won it second time as well.
Yeah, it's just this, because the League Cup, you don't actually play that many games. It's less rounds than the FA Cup as well. Yeah. So I'm sometimes even surprised, especially nowadays where the semi-final is not two-legged anymore as it used to be. Why? I don't understand sometimes why so many big teams always rotate as much. Obviously, we made the final this year, and City obviously winning every year, but that's because they have such a stupid squad that them rotating is still better than everybody else. But yeah, no, 100%. I think it made a big difference, and I think also his emphasis on it made a big difference. You know what I mean? If we just won it on the bounce, and then in hindsight we said, "Oh, important that," but Jose kept going on about this. He's like, we need to win something. I remember it so well. Obviously at the time I followed Chelsea mostly by the newspapers. I was every Monday, or if we played Saturday, then every Sunday, I was looking in the newspapers here in Austria. How did Chelsea play? Because that was before the internet. Do you know what I mean? Before I was so close to the internet, I would check football scores there. Do you know what I mean? It was easier to check it in the papers in the morning. So I remember still, obviously when we won it at Bolton, and me knowing, okay, if we win at Bolton, we're gonna win the league, and me running in the morning, running to the newspaper, did we win?
But good times on the pitch, off the pitch as well. Great times in terms of some of the quotes he'd have in his press conferences. They still stand the test of time now. Stories of him being smuggled into the dressing room in that Bayern Munich game. Where they put him in the laundry basket, rolled him into the changing room and that. They don't make managers like him anymore. I mean, there's some top managers around now, but there's no one like prime Jose. He was just phenomenal. I mean, that first spell, 2 Premier Leagues, I think 2 League Cups and an FA Cup. I think 5 trophies in that first 2 and a bit, 3 season spell. Absolutely phenomenal. Comes back for a second spell.
No, it was 3 and a bit, wasn't it? Because in his
it was 3 and a bit.
Second. I won the FA Cup, but then he got sacked in September of the next season.
And then you look at his second spell. I think he won a League Cup and another Premier League. That was great. Mate, obviously, we'll rank him in the GOAT ranking. I don't think that's up for debate at the moment.
Can multiple people be in GOAT, or can only one be in GOAT?
Oh, mate, I don't know. I'm thinking
because if only one can, I feel like maybe Ranieri needs to go down to good. If multiple people can be in GOAT, I think we can leave.
I think just one in. There's only one GOAT. I think Ranieri needs to move down to good.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Mate, two things. Obviously, first of all, does the fact that Jose didn't win a Champions League, does that at Chelsea, does that matter? That obviously doesn't affect his GOAT status at the club, but it's a bit of a shame it's missing, isn't it? Because as you say, we were so good in that 04-05 season, done by the ghost goal. And then, we were so close in his second spell as well when we got done. I think we got done by Atletico Madrid, didn't we, in a semi-final?
Yeah, we did. And does it tarnish it a little bit? Like, if he won the Champions League as well, he would just be the undisputed GOAT and no one
would it'd be a statue.
There would be no chance he would ever be taken off that GOAT spot, essentially.
No.
Because he didn't win it, there is a chance one day someone like Tuchel, somebody else, who knows, might take that spot away from him. But yeah, it is a bit sad, but it's not, I wouldn't say it tarnishes anything because, I mean, you just said it now with the ghost goal. I don't think he can exactly be blamed for not winning it. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly.
So,
I mean, yeah. It's, I think
he's the undisputed GOAT, man.
He is the undisputed GOAT. Mate, what do you make of, and I don't know if it's fair or not. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter that much really, but of people that aren't so happy with him because he went to Spurs, because he went to Manchester United. But you look at interviews now, like before the Conference League final, when he sat down with Joe Cole, he still refers to Chelsea as his home as such, even though he's been to the likes of Man United, he's been to Tottenham. At the end of the day, you've got to realise it's a job. And when you're a successful manager, there's only so many top jobs. So there's a chances are that you are going to manage your rivals as such. But it doesn't make you a bad person, or it doesn't diminish
and also,
what you achieved at Chelsea.
One thing, right? It's not like he walked away twice. We sacked him twice.
Yeah, exactly.
If we really wanted to stop him from ever going to another club, shouldn't have sacked him then.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that does that make any difference to you? I know I know some of the lads in the group chat think it matters, etc. I mean, I don't think it makes any difference to his legacy at the end of the day.
I think a little bit, a
tiny bit.
Especially the Spurs one. Maybe even equally. I don't know. It's a tough one. A little bit.
But at least he didn't win anything there.
Yeah, number one, he didn't win anything there. Number two, again, like you say, it's just a job. And you can't compare us fans who've been fans for decades to someone that had 3 years and then another 2.5 years. It's not the same. They make their money that way. And I mean, you mentioned it earlier and you see how many names there are at the bottom of the screen. If the fact that we go through that many managers, obviously, if you go through that many, chances are, especially the good ones, will end up at other big teams. That's what's going to happen. Obviously, if you have the same manager for 20 years, less chance of one of your legendary managers going to a different club. But if you sack them after 2 years every time, those things happen. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, I will say, if people follow me on Instagram, Laus1507, and on Twitter, I posted it as well, but more difficult to find there. The day he signed for Spurs, I had a Jose mask, those paper cut-up masks.
Oh, mate, class, yeah.
Yeah. And then I had a video, and I just threw the mask in the bin, shut the bin, because he went to Spurs. When he went to Spurs and while he was at Spurs, I did not like him at all.
Yeah.
But then he left Spurs. And then I can just ignore the fact that he was at Spurs and love him for what he achieved with us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mate, I've got to be honest, last thing on him, mate, I was so gutted that first time he got sacked, in 2007. I remember it so well, that after that 1-1 draw to Rosenborg in the Champions League at the Bridge. And then I knew the sack was coming because it had been coming for a while in the press. Mate, it's one of the only times, I don't cry that many times, but I actually cried a little bit when he was removed that first time. It was a real tough one to take. I mean, I was delighted when he come back as well, had equal success. Obviously, it wasn't as sad the second time because you've grown up a little bit and you kind of accept it. But mate, that first time, how did you feel when he went? I mean, I was so gutted.
It was still the times where it was more difficult to watch every game for me. Like then I got to watch some games, especially Champions League was on, but the Premier League was still difficult. So I didn't I don't know. It only hit me like a few years, maybe years is the wrong word, but a little bit later how crazy that was that we got rid of him. I know the start of the season wasn't that great, but I remember that first time I ever went to London was I can't remember the year. But Jose was still Chelsea manager.
Yeah.
There was no home game at the time. I think it might have even been in the summer. So there was obviously no league season going on. But we was on the tube with me, my mum, and my dad. And all of a sudden, my dad shouts, "That's Jose Mourinho." And there was Jose Mourinho surrounded by 3 bodyguards just walking through the tube station. I can't remember the tube station, obviously. But he was just walking through it with 3 bodyguards. I'm like, if you're going to use 3 bodyguards on the tube, why take the tube? Just take a cab then. Do you know what I mean? If you're not, but the fact, I didn't really properly see him because I was a young kid and everything was quick. But I saw the back of his head and my dad was like, that was Jose Mourinho. I was like, I've seen Jose Mourinho.
Mate, I remember, right? My dad, right, was in London and he saw Jose in the street, right? And this is so stupid, right? He's like, he didn't know how to flip the camera around on his phone for the selfie. So literally, mate, he sent me a picture. He was like, "Oh, I've just met Jose." The picture comes through, and it's just him standing there having taken a photo of Jose because he couldn't flip the camera around. I was like, honestly, mate, it was, mate, Jose was just standing.
You know, when you started that story now, I thought you were going to say he took a picture of the sky instead.
No, mate, he just took a picture of Jose just standing there outside some building with his briefcase and that. Mate, couldn't flip the camera. But I mean, Jose, 2 great spells, 3 Premier League titles, 3 League Cups, I think 2 FA Cups, 1 FA Cup, probably a couple of Community Shields in the mix as well. Obviously, he moves on though. Mate, I don't think any of us were expecting it. 2007, Avram Grant comes in. Obviously, long-time associate of Roman. He was director of football beforehand. And to be fair to him, mate, he was replaced at the end of that season, I think. But he did get us to a League Cup final, and he did get us to our first Champions League final in Moscow. Having said that, though, he was never popular. And he lost us a League Cup final against Tottenham, which is unacceptable.
Yeah,
really.
and the Champions League final, and we came second in the league. Do you know what I mean? It was like a season of losing everything.
It was a season of losing everything. What are your memories of him? I remember we had that phenomenal semi-final second leg of the Champions League with Liverpool. I think it was like a 4-4 or something. That was Lampard played not so long after his mum died. And he scored. He scored that penalty. We get to that first final. We obviously lose the League Cup final. Oh, mate, Avram, not really fond memories, to be honest, from him at all. I didn't like him at all.
Nah, it's maybe a bit harsh to say it like that, but he just didn't look like a nice man, did he? Especially you were a bit older than me, but I was young, Joe, when Avram Grant was in charge, and I saw pictures of him. Wow, he's a bit scary. And then we lost Tottenham, lost the Champions League final. I was crying my eyes out. I was watching it with a mate of mine who was also Chelsea fan, watching it, and then Terry missed, and then Anelka missed. I was my days.
That JT penalty
for the rest of my life, man.
The JT penalty still gets me, mate. I still can't. Even though we've won 2 Champions League since, every time I see it, mate, I just can't. I just hate it.
Yeah, no, honestly, and only because Drogba couldn't handle his fucking nerves and had to slap.
He slapped Vidic, didn't he?
Oh, Vidic, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
because otherwise JT never takes the 5th penalty, does he? So
no, he doesn't. Didier probably just slots that in, and we got 3 in the cabinet instead of 2.
Exactly. But that's why. But I like Drogba, so I don't want to blame him.
No,
I don't want to blame John Terry because he wouldn't have taken it if it wasn't for Drogba's slap. So I just blame Anelka.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably fair enough. Grant, though. Not a long period at all. We've done 3/4 of a season. Obviously, Jonathan Woodgate scored the extra time winner in that cup final against Spurs. We didn't do a lot in the league, to be perfectly honest, and we lost the Champions League final on penalties, which is not really his.
Wasn't it?
I think we come second, maybe.
Let me check. Let me check.
Yeah, mate, you check that. But I mean, in terms of a category, I feel bad because he did make 2 finals, but he also lost both of them, and he wasn't that popular. I think, mate. whilst you're looking at that, I'm going to stick him in the poor category. I'm like, that's a bit. Is that harsh?
I might have gone good, but underneath Ranieri, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
because I feel like the first Champions League final is still something. We lost the league by 2 points. Yeah, we came second and we lost it by 2. But I think we lost it on the last day, So that's why I think everyone around us remembered, but everyone is losing everything because we lost the Champions League final, we lost the League Cup final. I think we lost the league on the last day.
Is poor harsh? I mean, the guys in the chat can decide that. Is Avram in poor or good? Just drop some comments and let us know. We'll move on from Avram, mate. Not really much to say about him.
Yeah.
Next in after Avram, I've memorised this. I think it was Felipe Scolari.
Yeah, it was Scolari.
It was Scolari. Jesus Christ. I mean, mate, what were your thoughts on Scolari coming in? Obviously, a World Cup winner with Brazil from 2002, I think.
Yeah.
He obviously arrived after we reached the Champions League final. He arrived that summer. But he was sacked by February and only won 20 games. This again wasn't great, was it? I mean, we had the likes of Anelka in the side. I think we had Belletti in there as well. We still had like the likes of Lampard, Essien, Ballack. I think we had Shevchenko as well. Still, mate, what were your thoughts on Scolari? I mean, I was quite excited by it, but it was pretty much just a disaster from the off.
Yeah, like I remember the signing and like, World Cup winning, or appointing the manager rather, like World Cup winning manager, Brazilian, it was all like, we're going to play fancy football type thing. But if I'm honest, I don't really have that many memories of like specific games or whatever. Like you say, he got sacked early. And then was he replaced by Hiddink, yeah?
Hiddink took over for his first interim spell, I think.
And then it was Hiddink with the whole Barcelona game.
Yep, Hiddink was that Barcelona game where we had that the Norwegian ref who basically fucked us over.
Yeah. I reckon Scolari's got to be horrific, man. Like, if you don't even make it past February in your first season.
Mate, 20 wins. Yeah. I mean, all things considered, Scolari's been a great national team manager. Club manager just didn't really work out. We just did nothing under him at all. So yeah, he's going to go in the horrific section. I mean, there's been quite a few horrific ones. Mate, who came after Scolari? I'm pretty sure it was
Hiddink. Surely
it was Hiddink. Yeah, it was Hiddink's first. I mean, Gus Hiddink's had a great, managerial pedigree, etc. He comes in on an interim basis. I think he wins. I think that's the year. Isn't that the year that he wins the FA Cup? Yeah, because he did February 2009 to May 2009.
First, we won the FA Cup and we got robbed of the Champions League. So
yeah, he did. I mean, we got FA Cup glory 2-1 win against Everton, and he only lost one Premier League game in his first stint in charge. And then the second time round, we were down in 16th when he took over, and he got us back up to 10th. Back to 10th. So looking at the two spells, that first spell in particular, that FA Cup final trophy, great in that fantastic yellow kit, and for sure, mate. I'm not just saying it, but we were the best team in Europe that year. We got robbed by Barcelona.
We were essentially the best team in Europe from 2004 to 2010.
Yeah, mate, for about 5 or 6 seasons. This is not even a biased exaggeration.
We didn't win enough, but we were the best team still.
we were. I mean, he didn't get us an FA Cup, didn't lose a Premier League game in his first stint in charge. The second stint, different circumstances. We're fucking almost in the relegation zone, gets us back to 10th. How would you assess him? Mate, to be fair, I quite like the work he did. I thought he'd done well, considering the circumstances.
100%. Like, especially the first stint. I think the first stint alone would put him in very good. But the second stint, I found that second stint quite annoying. Because
what were we supposed to do, really, innit?
But after the first 3 or 4 wins, right, we knew we weren't going to get relegated. Yeah. But he still didn't play any youngsters. I'm like, what's the point? Like, now, just drop all the shit players that we don't want anymore anyway, and just play youngsters. But he didn't do that, so that I remember still being triggered by it. I'm not sure if you remember, but that game will always stick in my head as the worst ever Chelsea game I've ever watched. When we lost 1-0 away at Swansea. Worst game of all time. Like,
is that under Hiddink?
He was so bad, and just that game triggers me about Hiddink. So I would put him in good ahead of Ranieri.
Yeah.
But the first stint itself, I would have gone probably very good, I reckon.
Yeah, mate, I think he was... Yeah, I think just good for Hiddink, but we'll put him ahead of Claudio.
Yeah, because he won a trophy. Fair. Even if it was only the FA Cup, he won a trophy.
He did win a trophy. I'm pretty sure, mate, after Hiddink was in, mate, I think it was time for 8. Was it? Who was after Hiddink? It wasn't Scolari.
Carlo.
It wasn't.
Carlo,
It was
mate.
Carlo, wasn't it? It was Ancelotti. We managed to get Carlo Ancelotti in, and mate, I've got to be honest. I thought he was. Mate, I think he was phenomenal. Honestly,
Mate,
Carlo.
The football we played, like we hyped
Some
it
of
for
the
Jose,
football
right?
we played, didn't
But
we play like
every other week we
2009?
was winning like 6-0, 7-0, 8-0. It was mental.
Yeah, mate, we literally Carlo replaced Hiddink, and then we won our first double Premier League and FA Cup, and we become the first team to score 100 Premier League goals. We finished with 103 goals in the league that season. I mean, mate, some of the football we were playing was phenomenal. Like
I can't remember who knocked us out of the Champions League in those years. If I'm honest, I do not remember.
I'm pretty sure. Didn't we get done by? We got done by Jose's Inter one year.
We did.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like
but it was quite early, wasn't
that
it?
winning team. Yeah,
it was
we
quite
got
early
done. I think it was last 16. They did us. I remember Eto'o scoring at Stamford Bridge. They were wearing that white. They were wearing their white away kits. We got done by Inter one year, and the second year, I don't know who did us, but domestically, mate, we were great. We were playing some great stuff, mate. I'll tell you what, I'd love the amount of goals we were scoring back then. Now, I mean, it would be nice, wouldn't it? We didn't have any problems finding the back of the fucking
amount
goal.
of times I've watched back the highlights of that last game against who was it? Villa at home, yeah.
Didn't we beat Wigan like 8-0 or something?
Oh, Wigan, that was it. Wigan, not Villa. Yeah. Wigan, 8-0. Drogba scored a hat trick. I think Lampard, did he also score a hat trick?
We were smashing teams week in, week out.
Ashley Cole scored, Kalou scored. Like, we was having a great time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, mate, we were. I think, do you think Carlo was slightly, I don't want to say underappreciated. I mean, maybe that is all right. Do you reckon he's slightly underappreciated a little bit? Because
mate, he got sacked after we finished second in the tunnel after the last game. Like, mental.
Mate, it's mad that, isn't it? I thought that was harsh. I mean,
now you have people like, I love Thomas Tuchel, right? But now you have people saying, oh, Thomas Tuchel could be the GOAT. Mate, we're 19 points off top. Back in the day, we sacked managers for that.
Yeah, no, mate, to be honest, honestly, Tuchel could have been sacked if Roman was still in charge. No joke. Like, it's.
I mean, with everything going on, it's a bit more understandable. But if it was a normal season and the season,
mate, 100
ends like this,
you'd be pretty worried. But yeah, I mean, Carlo, it was phenomenal football. He's not quite the GOAT, but he obviously slots into that very good category with ease. I'd say.
Like Clutch said in the chat, I think Carlo is closest to Jose because it's the only double we won, man. So
yeah, we haven't won any doubles at all. I mean, to come in though, and like in your first season win a league and cup double. I mean, that's hard. It's like, I know we're a great side, but it's a new league, it's a new way of playing, new players, etc. I know that,
and the way he did it as well, like not just scrape it.
Yeah, mate. What a great man! What a great manager he was for us. I'm just a little bit gutted that he didn't stay a bit longer. I think that was so harsh to bin him. Like there was, mate, to win a double in your first year and then to come second in the league in your second year and get binned. I mean, I love Roman for what he's done, but
if we see a second reign of Carlo someday,
do you think you think Carlo could come back one day?
Well, if I'm honest, depends on the situation. Like, if he doesn't have a job whenever we sack a manager mid-season, I think we might give him a call.
Yeah, mate, to be fair, I reckon Hiddink still got his phone on.
But to be fair, Hiddink, isn't he like 80 years old by now?
Mate, him and Vice can sit in the dugout. Would be like the oldest manager.
Bloody Vice, man.
But yeah, Carlo in very good. I mean, great football played. Obviously, the rain for me. The rain was far too short for him. But I'm pretty sure after Carlo, we had AVB come in.
Yep.
Yeah, 2011. That would have been.
He was the next one. I was all excited. We paid 15 million euros.
Mate,
I think it was euros to pay him out of his contract at Porto because we were like, he's the next Jose, young Portuguese, just won the Europa League with Porto. We was like, we're getting gas. We signed Mata. We was all having a great time. And then
he done really
turns
well.
out he wanted to get rid of all the old players and fucked it.
Yeah. Mate, he did. He done. Mate, he actually, no joke, right? He actually done really well at Porto, and he was another one. Young manager, had similar success to Jose at Porto, not quite on the same level, no Champions League, but obviously Europa League, Portuguese leagues, cups, etc. Yeah, a younger age, I think is what they come in, must have been about 33. But 15 million euros compensation, as you say, which at that time was a lot of money to pay for a manager, probably still is actually, to be fair.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out at all. It was just shit from the off, basically. He'd been part of Jose's technical staff before in a previous setup as well. I can't lie, man. I was excited for this. I remember like seeing things like he was sort of like dubbed the mini Mourinho and stuff, but it was anything but in the end. It didn't work out. I think, mate, do you think, looking back at it now, the fact that he was so young and there were members of the squad that were older than him, do you think that was a problem as well? And apart from the fact that he just couldn't really get anything going either.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a problem. But I will also say, like, he definitely will go into the horrific category. But I do think he was done a bit harshly by the fact I don't think it was his personal decision to drop the Lampards and the Terrys and the Drogbas. I think that was a higher up thing. You're like, we need to make our squad younger. I feel like I've read about that a couple of times that that was kind of like, you are supposed to do this. But then obviously the results didn't follow. And then the old players were like, hold up, what's happening here? Basically got rid of him. And in the end, we won the Champions League.
Yeah. Can't complain. Mate, do you remember that? I remember that game at Napoli, like that first leg of the last 16. And then like we're sitting there and it's like Essien, Lampard.
Did we go 1-0 up? Or did we score like, did we equalise?
I'm not sure what. Yeah, mate, I think we definitely scored. We might have gone one up, but there was no Lampard, no Essien. I think no Ashley Cole, all left on the bench.
Ashley Cole played because Ashley Cole cleared it off the line.
He might have come
otherwise
on then.
He would have lost 4-1 and we would have got knocked out.
Yeah, mate, he might have come on then because I don't think he started, but
maybe he came on. Yeah, that could be. I don't know. I just remember his goal line clearance. I will always remember that.
Yeah, I think he come on. But obviously after that, AVB sacked. Obviously, yeah, mate, horrific. He's straight in a horrific category. Worse than Scolari or better?
Better because the team when we had Scolari was better than it was when we had Villas-Boas.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Mate, I'd forgotten until I was researching it earlier. I've completely forgotten that Di Matteo was AVB's assistant at the time.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that. But obviously, Di Matteo comes in next, and what happens then is absolutely phenomenal. But what I do want to say is, mate, on that, I know this might sound ridiculous. Di Matteo's a shit manager. He is. No, he is, mate. I know, like that might not be popular with Chelsea fans. I'm grateful for what he's done. He'll be a club legend for winning us our first Champions League. But I think at the time things were so bad in the dressing room under AVB. And I've heard players like JT talk about it as well, that Di Matteo and Eddie Newton, etc. They were just they come in, and it was almost like they were like kind of good vibes kind of thing, rather than actually being decent coaches. They were just, they kind of listened to the players, took on board what they wanted to do. It was almost like the players kind of ran it rather than those two. If that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. No. 100%. Like Di Matteo didn't really do much. He just said, "Okay, let's defend. We know we're good at that, and just give it to Drogba." Let Lampard and Drogba figure it out.
But I mean, in fairness, though, like having said he's a shit manager, mate. I mean, it was remarkable, really, to turn that round against Napoli, that Champions League run. The fact that he also won the FA Cup,
the loudest Stamford Bridge has ever been in its history.
Yeah,
win over Napoli.
And we beat Napoli. Obviously, I think we beat Benfica in the next one, and then we obviously that famous Barcelona one with a Torres round the keeper, and that Ramirez goal is so underrated. That chip,
yeah, what a chip,
mate, it was ridiculous. So we get that.
No one in that squad right now would even attempt that chip,
No,
mate, a single player would even attempt it.
No, absolutely no chance. But I mean, we win the FA Cup as well, which is phenomenal. 2-1 win against Liverpool. That's great in itself, considering the circumstances we were in. We beat a ridiculously good Barcelona team. And then we go to Bayern Munich. I mean, that was all with JT being sent off as well. I've forgotten about that in that second leg.
And it was in the first half. Like we played the entire second half with a man down.
Yeah, exactly.
And we needed a goal because they scored. Did they go 2-0 up? Yeah, they went 2-0 up. And then we got one back with Ramirez. And then obviously Torres scored the late 2-2. So we were already down and out with 2-0 because we won the first leg 1-0, didn't we?
Mate,
and we were a man down. And with a man down, we turned things around against probably the greatest side that's ever existed in football. It's mental.
Mate, it was... Mate, it was one of the greatest moments in Chelsea history, really. That one there. I mean, obviously we get to the
year,
mate,
2012. Sorry to interrupt you, bro. In
yeah,
that just 2012, that calendar year, Messi scored 91 goals.
yeah, mate. That's
Himself.
probably yeah. I mean, yeah. That's
What
that
year?
is yeah. But that's
And
sort
we're
of like
like,
this.
Lukaku's top goal scorer, bro. He's got 14 goals, man.
Yeah. Yeah, mate. It's a fair point. I mean, we get to that Munich final. Obviously, we're not expect. I've got to be honest. I weren't expecting anything in terms of the team we had. Ironically, mate, the first time we win it is probably the time we'd had one of our worst sides to attempt it. Basically,
but it was still kind of, how you said Jose never won the Champions League. It was still kind of mostly Jose's team. It was Czech. It was Ashley Cole. It was Terry didn't play obviously, but still it was Ivanovic. It was Bozingba was in the squad. Do you know what I mean? It was Essien, like Mikel, like crazy.
Drogba still.
So still kind of that
it was
I will say, to give a little bit of credit to Di Matteo. Sorry, bro. He might not be a great manager tactically, but what he did for that final with the whole like getting video messages of the families and friends of all the players involved, like I think for a final, Di Matteo is an absolute boss man. If you have a good squad, like he will man management to motivate and to get the best out of players. He's class at that. Not for the average league game, hence why we only finished 6th. To be honest, I don't remember where we were in the league when Villas-Boas was sacked, but I don't think our league form improved at all when we changed managers.
No, I think we were standard. We were average.
Yeah, I just remember, I think QPR, Torres scored a hat-trick under Di Matteo at home. I remember that. But otherwise,
There weren't much to it. I mean, the Munich final was just phenomenal. I mean, it was just one of them that was meant to be. I mean, when Muller scored with like 10 scars, like, yeah, we're done now. We're finished. But we somehow managed to get it back. I mean, Czech was phenomenal in that game. The penalties he saved in the shootout, saving the Robin penalty in extra time as well. It was just one of them that was meant to be. We also got the FA Cup. So, I mean, Di Matteo, we have to be thankful to him for giving us one of the greatest moments in the history of the football club, that elusive Champions League. But he gets awarded the job on a permanent basis after that, which I don't think anyone could argue with that at the time. But I mean, the following season, mate, the bubble very much burst, didn't it? I think we're the only Champions League holders to go out in the group stage.
Yeah, but he signed Hazard.
Yeah, he did. Well, yes, I suppose he did.
Hazard signed Hazard when he was manager. So
I mean, were you expecting the bubble to burst that quickly? Really? I mean, sacked a couple months into the new season. I mean, the league form was poor. Mate, going out in the group stages as Champions League holders is not acceptable. I remember that game. I think we had Juventus in the group stage that year. I think we lost there as well. I think we lost there maybe 1-0 or something.
We lost away, but we won at home. Remember when Oscar scored those two?
Oh, mate, he scored a couple of worldies, didn't he?
Yeah. With his back heel touch.
Yeah.
Like through the legs of Pirlo and then curl it into the top corner.
It was mad.
It's the most insane Chelsea goals ever. Like,
mate, it was outrageous, wasn't it? If we're being honest, but I mean, Di Matteo, the spell of the bubble very much burst, as I said. You expecting it to happen that quickly, mate? Things just came crashing down, didn't they? I think the good vibes very much kind of ended, really. And I guess like the real challenge started, and maybe he was slightly exposed as being out of his depth, I guess, in the kindest way possible.
Exactly that. And it was, like you said earlier, in terms of the squad, wasn't quite there anymore anyway. But then obviously Drogba left as well. And like we were basically in a similar rebuild situation, almost to what we are now, kind of. Like not exactly, but somewhat similar. And I think as a manager, you need to be top class to oversee that. And he wasn't, unfortunately. Now, and that might sound harsh, but I'm only going to put him in good.
Yeah.
At the top of good, because he won the fucking Champions League, man. But still in good, because to get knocked out of the group stages as the reigning Champions League winners, like that's an embarrassment I will never live down. Do you know what I mean?
He can go at the top of good, but I agree, mate. It wasn't that was poor. I mean, he gave us our first Champions League, which he deserves full praise for. But the rest of the spell, the FA Cup as well, great. The back end of the spell was fantastic at the back end of that first season. But then, the second part of his permanent spell, as it were, it was, let's be perfectly honest, it was awful. But we thank Robbie every day for what he did in 2012.
100%.
But next appointment, not popular by any means, Rafa Benitez. I mean, mate, what were your thoughts at the time when the I don't know like how close you were following it, but when the rumours were circulating that it was going to be Rafa, and then he gets announced and you see him holding the Chelsea shirt, and it just looked all sorts of wrong.
Mate, it was like the fact that he clowned us while being Liverpool manager. I'm like, excuse me, how have you appointed him? Like, how has that happened then? But we probably, with the exception of Carlo, played the second best ever football, potentially in the history of this club under Benitez. Some of the football Hazard, Mata, and Oscar turn up with. Mental.
Oh,
even
mate,
made Torres look like a good striker again.
Yeah. I mean, we say it was horrific and it was a wrong appointment and the fans never took to him. But if you're looking at it in terms of success, Hazard, Mata, Oscar, phenomenal, and Torres actually looked half decent under him. Plus the fact we also won the Europa League, and we must have finished top 4 as well.
Finished third.
Well, we were third in the Europa League, and the brand of attacking football was great.
There's a young team as well, because he was the next one that tried to not play the older players. Like he left Lampard out, he left Terry out.
He didn't play Terry, did he? No. I mean, Europa League, we won, I think, in Amsterdam, a 2-1 win against Benfica. Ivanovic last-minute header, if my memory serves me right. And he had a 58% win ratio as Chelsea manager, but he was only here for, one season, if that?
No, not even. It was like, because Di Matteo got sacked in November. Because maybe December, but I think we already knew we weren't going to go through the group after the 5th game of the group stages.
Yeah.
And I think that's basically when we sacked him. So, and then we had, I can't remember. I think we had Steve Holland in charge. Was Steve Holland already here then? I think so.
Yeah, possibly.
For him for a couple of games, and then Benitez came just before Christmas, I reckon.
Yeah, I think he did, mate. It was around end of November, maybe start of December time. But, I mean, looking back on it, not popular, but third place and a Europa League. And as RD in the chat saying, Torres, 22 goals in all comps that season, which is not a bad return. He probably did get the best out of Torres, if we're being honest here. I mean, Clutch is hating Benitez, fair enough. But, I mean, mate, this is a tough one.
I hate Benitez too, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but this is a tough one, though, because we don't like him, really. But in the time he was there, he didn't actually do that bad a job, did he?
No, he really didn't. I'm just trying to figure out when exactly. On 21st of November.
So virtually December, yeah.
Yeah, 21st of November, there you go. It's a tough one because as a person, don't like him.
Yeah.
As a manager, in terms of after what he said at Liverpool and stuff, don't like him. But the football we played and we won a European trophy, I reckon he's got it going good anyway.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess
we can't put him in the same realm as Avram, who lost everything.
No, this is true, mate. Mate, to be honest, we're like taking away the man, like just very much what happened on the pitch. To win a Europa League and come third and have Hazard, Oscar, and Mata firing like they were, I think he has to go in good. Not because he because he did
the
well.
Question is, will you put him ahead or below Hiddink?
I think probably maybe ahead.
I don't know, mate.
We're drinking after Hiddink.
I reckon so. Because Hiddink was robbed of the Champions League. I mean, not his fault, that.
Yeah, no, that is true, mate. So we go Rafa in there. I mean, not a popular figure, but he did win us a European trophy, and we still come in the top 4. So,
and in the end, like, the way he left, it was he kind of like he realized that he said some bad things at Liverpool. Like you could see the longer he was here for, the more like he was he was sorry.
Yeah, no, he was sorry. I'm pretty sure, mate, Jose come back for his second spell, didn't he? Yeah, after Rafa.
He did.
Oh, we've already talked about that. Moving on then, mate. Another popular man.
By any chance, did you happen to go to that first game that Jose was back for?
No, mate, I didn't. I think the reception was phenomenal, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I only watch it on TV, obviously, but even then, I had tears in my eyes. I wanted nothing more than Jose back.
Mate, it was literally like God gracing the pitch. It was
it returns.
It was mad, but it obviously had Jose's second spell again. done well, a league title and a League Cup. Come up short in the Champions League, and then the end of that reign was awful. 16th in the table, it all fell apart. Familiar script. He left. Antonio Conte comes in. Just a quick spell for him, 2 seasons. Mate, what do you reckon? What do you make of Conte? Obviously, he's at Spurs now. He's a success at Inter Milan. He's a success at Juventus, etc. It didn't start well at all, mate. I was worried that he was pretty close to the axe, like after that Arsenal game. But he switched the system up. We went 3 at the back, and we ended up winning 30 of the 38 games that season, playing some great stuff.
After that Arsenal game, we won 13 Premier League games in a row.
Yeah. It was. I think that was
a record at the time. City broke it the year after.
Yeah.
At the time, still a record.
But I mean, Conte comes in. We've got Diego Costa. We've got Fabregas playing. It's a great team. Cahill doing well at the back with JT. I think Ivanovic still there, potentially. Maybe.
I think Ivanovic left in January of Conte's first season.
Yeah. So we still had Ashley Cole as well. The back 3 under Conte kind of revolutionised, kind of made that popular in the Premier League. I mean, what did you make of that first season? Because, as I said, we struggled to begin with. But then after that once we switched that back 3, we had a prime Victor Moses, mate. What a fucking... Mate. I forgot it. It was and Victor Moses.
Prime Marcos Alonso.
And a prime Alonso, mate. Those were the good days.
Matic and Kante in midfield, mate. We was dominating everything.
And it was Drogba, Hazard, and... No, it was Costa, Hazard.
Drogba weren't here anymore.
It was Costa, Hazard, and was it Mata? No, I can't remember who it was.
No. Jose sold Mata, didn't he, to United?
Yeah. Remember? So it was Costa, Hazard, and...
William. William and Pedro.
It was William. We had Pedro as well.
Yeah, them two. I think Pedro played more first season. William played more second season.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the way he left with everything that happened with Costa and him suing us and everything, so that left a very sour taste in the end. But if we're being as objective as we were with Rafa, I mean, that first season was phenomenal. After the Arsenal game onwards, I know we had to scrape things a little bit towards the end, but mate, we were, especially because it had been a minute since the last league win. Obviously, the last league win before that. No, actually, it hadn't. It was 2 years because of Jose. But we had just finished 10th. We just finished 10th and we won the league. Like crazy. But it was also like, let's not lie to ourselves. The reason we won the league was because we were 10th and didn't play in Europe. That's why we won the league. But we'll take it.
I mean, Costa and Fabregas were phenomenal that season as well.
Absolutely.
We
get an FA Cup second season as well.
Yeah, FA Cup second season. Ironically, the last time we have actually won it, the Hazard penalty, win the league in the first season. He walks out, but mate, it was a late departure for Conte as well. Because I remember it went well into the pre-season. I mean, I liked Conte, but I'm still fuming with the fact that he just sent Diego Costa a text telling him not to bother to come back to fucking pre-season, and that was the end. That was the end of that for Costa. But we played some great football. Where do you reckon Conte ranks for you, mate? I mean, I think very good behind Carlo, obviously, but I think he did great in the time he was here. We did play some good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I put him in very good behind Carlo.
Yeah,
he just doesn't know what to do in Europe, but domestically, he's an absolute. He's a god.
It's weird that, isn't it? How a manager that's been as good as Conte has got such a poor European record. I don't think he's ever made it out the group stage of the Champions League.
I don't know about that with Juve, but definitely nowhere near.
I don't think he
especially
has.
Look at Juve. I mean, he won. Obviously, what he did at Juve initially was phenomenal. Like he took them over when they finished like 7th. Then they won like 5 leagues in a row. Then he left. Allegri came in. Okay, he kept winning the league, but he made Champions League finals. Sure, lost them. But so it was clear something he must have done wrong for Europe. But hey, it's to this day the last league title we won, man. And
it is, isn't it? Yeah,
you can't underestimate that.
You can't underestimate that, mate. Texas Blue just reminding us of the horrific transfer window we had. Morata, Barkley, and Bakayoko coming in under Conte. Plus, Conte also signed Drinkwater as well, which, I mean, I'm not sure if he signed up on that. Let's not put
too much blame on the club for that, because read up on what Conte's transfer targets were. We were lucky we didn't get Ashley fucking Barnes, do you know what I
mean? Yeah. mate, we used to get links with Barnes from Burnley. No, like, I remember, now that you mention it, I remember it. Yeah,
and Andy Carroll and fucking Peter Crouch, who was
and
like
Crouch as well
at the time.
Like what? Yeah, no. Mate, it was mad. Yeah, I think
Giroud turned out good for us, right?
He turned out good, yeah.
Cult hero. But the fact that we decided against signing Aubameyang was so stupid.
Didn't we sign Rudiger under Conte as well?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. So it wasn't all
Do you
bad.
remember that January triangle where we loaned Batshuayi to Dortmund, which is why Dortmund let Aubameyang go to Arsenal, and then we got Giroud from Arsenal? Yeah. I'm like, why didn't we just take Arsenal out of this
and just get Aubameyang?
Dortmund Batshuayi and take an Aubameyang ourselves?
Mate,
because Morata clearly wasn't working, so I never understood.
It's a good point, but I mean, obviously Conte moves on. Maurizio Sarri comes in now. You know, you got the Sarri sexuals as they're referred to on Chelsea Twitter, etc. But Maurizio Sarri comes in. He comes in late. He's done an okay job at Napoli. I have to say, the season before ran Juve very close to the Serie A title. Hadn't ever won any trophies. Probably more well known for his smoking than his management skills. But having said that, I
think the term Sarri ball is what he's most known for.
Yeah, and that as well. He comes in, and in fairness, mate, he's probably another one of those managers that I look back on and think maybe we should have given him a bit more time, because he came in. Some of the football he played wasn't that bad, and we won the Europa League as well. But then what did piss me off with Sarri was we got smashed in a few games. Remember, we got battered 6-0 by Manchester City. Bournemouth smashed us 4-0. Yeah.
4-1 by Watford.
Yeah, a lot of games there we were poor. And, mate, the subs used to piss me off. I remember every week it was Barkley for Kovacic or it was Kovacic for Barkley. That was the go-to sub. And it was the same every single match. Anywhere between sort of 60 and 75.
Imagine that now.
Yeah, mate.
Anywhere between Kovacic just comes instant and how far Barkley has dropped in.
Oh, mate. And he made a League Cup final. And as Clutch says in the chat, he gave us that moment where he told Kepa to come off in the final. And Kepa was like, no, I'm not coming off.
By the way, all of this because referees robbed us. Because Hazard was onside and was 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. I reckon we would have won that. Like, Hazard was clearly onside. It was before VAR, but we get screwed for offside by VAR at Wembley all the same. So,
and also, mate, to be fairness, I mean, I don't think it's like he gave us the opportunity to see Callum, and I think it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say, and Ruben as well. It wouldn't have been an exaggeration to say that Callum's probably played some of his best football at Chelsea under Sarri, even though he was like 18. Yeah. And Ruben was class for Sarri as well. I remember
Ruben
a hat trick.
Second best player that season.
Yeah, he got a hat trick in the Europa League against, I think, Bate Borisov at the Bridge. Mate, he'd done really well. I think the team was half decent under Sarri. Mate, did you like him? Did you like the style of football we were playing?
I did. I was a bit of a Sarri sexual, I can't lie. At the time, I was like, yeah, bring me all of that Regista and, passing football. For some reason, we never played it as fast as Napoli did. I'm not sure if that's because he didn't have enough time to get it that fast, or if the Premier League itself...
Did he bring us Higuain as well?
He did, yeah. After Morata left.
That's a tragic, succession of strikers. Morata followed by Higuain.
Yeah. And he won us the Europa League.
Yeah, and we smashed Arsenal. And we smashed Arsenal in Baku.
Exactly.
What do you reckon, mate?
It's good a tough one because...
Would you have liked him to stay longer as well, by the way?
Yes, but he also left on his own accord. But I think if the fans weren't such twats to him, booing him, insulting him constantly, I think he might not have wanted to leave.
Mate, the amount of stick, by the way, that Jorginho got because he was bought in by Sarri as well. Mate, you look back at that, it's a bit embarrassing now, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Considering the season before we finished 5th.
Yeah.
We finished 5th the season before, and now they complain at coming 3rd. What?
Yeah, and Clutch reminding us that Sarri bought in Christian Pulisic as well, so he must go top of the
horrific.
Oh, yeah, yeah, mate, get him below Scolari.
Yeah, I reckon
he did get the Europa League for us, and it was a nice moment for him to see him with that first medal that he'd ever won in his career. So I mean, fair play to him. Do you reckon...
As a manager, I think he's way better than Di Matteo. But I'm not sure if we can put him ahead of Di Matteo because Di Matteo won us the Champions League.
I think let's put him behind Di Matteo and ahead of Hiddink.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Right, mate. Last two then. Let's get through these. Frank Lampard comes in. Obviously, transfer ban that summer. I think that probably drastically affected the caliber of manager we could get in. Mate, ends up with Lampard. What are your thoughts when he come in? I mean, I guess maybe a little bit surprised, but then not totally surprised because the caliber of manager we would normally go for wouldn't really be interested in coming with no transfer window, can't bring any players in, etc. Were you surprised that the club appointed Lampard?
No, if I'm honest, because Sarri left. We were on transfer ban. Hazard had just left.
Yeah,
and we couldn't replace him. Well, obviously Pulisic came in, but we signed him in January, so we had a new player in that sense.
Signed Kovacic on a permanent.
Yeah, but of course he was on loan the year before. Yeah. But there was just no one else available. Remember, think back to it. Any good manager there was, that you'd think of. Tuchel had a job.
Simeone.
Nagelsmann didn't even exist yet, I swear. Yeah. Or maybe he was at Hoffenheim, probably.
We used to get linked with Simeone as well back then.
Simeone, but, he's, a 10-year contract at Atletico, so he's basically not available. Zidane was at Madrid, still Pochettino was at Spurs. I swear some people were talking about Pochettino at the time. So, now, Lampard's first season was good. In my opinion, every sense of the way. A lot of it, in my opinion, that's probably why people call me sarisexual or used to. In my opinion, part of the big reason for Lampard's success in his first season was Sarri's season, because we played like Sarri. And then Lampard's second season, we didn't play like Sarri at all anymore. So that tells me the only reason we played like that first season was because of Sarri. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the vibe it gives me. But his first season was good. I mean,
it was good.
We still live off that now. Mason Mount, Reece James. I mean, Tammy, of course.
Tammy was good.
Tomori. But we still got good money for Tammy.
Yeah.
Tomori, I'm not going to give Lampard anything because Lampard got rid of Tomori. But I mean, hey, you can look at it that way.
An FA Cup final as well, which we should have won. We go 1-up. I mean, Kovacic gets sent off.
The ref again, to be fair. With that red
Kovacic
card Kovacic.
I mean, we kind of fucked it. We should have won that. But all things considered, mate, an FA Cup final and a top four finish with Hazard left and a transfer ban, having to use the likes of Mason Mount, Reece James, etc. I think that's very good. I think that was good. The best he could have done, really. But the second season is where, for me, it starts to fall apart. It's mad though. Like so many other managers. Well, I think we beat Leeds at the Bridge and we were top at Christmas. But then it just went to shit.
Not at Christmas, but at November. Remember when
at November time? Obviously, Thiago Silva come in.
Sevilla. Remember, obviously, it was all lockdown.
All four goals for Giroud in that game as well. But I mean, that was a summer where the summer of his second season or whatever, end of the first season, was the big one. Havertz, Werner, Ziyech, Thiago Silva on a free. We bought all those players in.
Mendy as well
came. I think he came in the January actually.
No, he came in the summer.
Oh, he came in the summer, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Did he definitely? I swear it was a January. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's where things start to not work out. Big money signings come in. You've got to somehow fit them into the team. Wasn't really working at all. Having said that, we were topish at November time. But then it started to fall apart, as it always does in Chelsea. A horrific run around the Christmas period. And the writing was kind of on the wall for Lampard. We were nowhere near playing anything decent at all. Honestly, mate, in that period, I couldn't see where the next win was coming from. He was falling out with senior players. Rudiger had been frozen out. Jorginho was frozen out. Alonso, whatever we think of him. Yeah, David Luiz gone. Jorginho was frozen out. Whatever you think of Alonso, he was also out for whatever reasons. Lampard seemed to have issues with a lot of senior players. I'm not sure why that was, but it is what it is. And he under-delivered big time in the second season. I just think perhaps for him a complete lack of coaching experience and a lack of experience in how to manage big names, I guess, kind of undid for him, because the way he treated certain players, look back at it now, and it was wrong, really, wasn't it?
It was. It's weird because in the end he had just over 18 months, right? And of those 18 months, We were only really bad for 2.
Yeah.
But the problem is we were really, really bad for 2. And also, not only that, he just couldn't handle everything around it. Like, we had a bad spell under Thomas Tuchel, but he kept everything around it all right.
Yeah.
While under Lampard, like you say, with the Rudiger stuff, then Tomori played last season, played at the start of the season, all of a sudden frozen out, then leaves in January. No one knows what's happening. All the signings, other than Thiago Silva, basically didn't work. Okay, to be fair, Werner was decent until about October, but after that, nothing. Lampard had no idea where to play Havertz, played Mason Mount left wing. Like, it was all over the shop. But still, the results were there until November. So I'm putting him in good.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm not sure about is whether he goes above or below Ranieri. I don't know.
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm not sure. It just depends.
He didn't win a trophy, so I can't put him ahead of Rafa, I think.
No, he can't go ahead of Rafa. Maybe, I don't know if he should be ahead of Ranieri or not.
You could, like, obviously Ranieri had like the big money come in and stuff while Lampard had a transfer ban. But
Lampard also had like 250 million signings the following season.
True.
Let's put him
if anything, Lampard probably would have done better in the second season if we gave him no signings.
Yeah, true. But he did bring Mount and Reece James through, which I know like people say, oh, he did that, but he didn't really have a choice. But I guess he gave them more of an opportunity than perhaps other managers would have done.
Although, to be fair, Sarri said, yeah, I wish I had Mason Mount and Reece James.
Yeah.
Because I reckon these 2 players, Sarri would have been all over that because we needed a right back anyway.
Yeah.
And he loved anyone that ran loads. So Mason Mount would have been all over Sarri. It
would have been perfect. But I think a good maybe level or just behind Ranieri is fair for Lamps. Last one then, mate. I know he's not really finished, but Thomas Tuchel, I don't know if we should rate him or not. He's still here. He's done a phenomenal job. Champions League, Club World Cup, Super Cup. Obviously lost a couple of FA Cup finals and a League Cup final, unfortunately. But, Chelsea very much in the mix and he's very much the future and can build something very special here. Having said that, mate, where do you think, I don't think we can really rank him because he's not been sacked. So, but do you think he's got the potential for sure to be in the GOAT category at some point if he stays for the next, say, 3-4 seasons?
No, if I'm honest.
No, don't think so.
No, Jose won us the Premier League 3 times. Like,
yeah, I can't. Yeah,
Tuchel needs to win it, in my opinion, needs to win it twice.
Twice, yeah, and he needs both
and another Champions League. Then
he needs both domestic cups, really.
Yeah, at least one of them, I reckon. At least one of them. I think we can rate him still for what he's achieved so far.
Yeah,
now,
let's do it.
If you asked me this a month ago, I would have put him between Carlo and Conte. But because we keep losing too many finals, I'm going to put him behind Conte now.
Yeah, for the time being. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, it can obviously change. Next season, it could be ahead of Carlo and Conte. Might well be. But, if we say, Lampard can't be ahead of Benitez because he didn't win a trophy, then we can't put Tuchel ahead of Conte when we keep losing every final. Obviously, the Champions League, the biggest one we did win, but that was last season.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. So far very good. Can't really fault him, but we've just got to improve on a domestic level, because ultimately that's where you're judged on kind of week in, week out. Champions League is great, but I'd rather win the Premier. Now we've won the Champions League twice. Like I'm not saying I'm not asked if we don't win it again. Of course, I'd love to win it again, but having got 2 in the cabinet, I'd rather win the Premier League.
I definitely win the Premier League. Want to win it that before I care about the Champions League again. Like I want to win it. I want to win both.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. But if I have to pick,
if next season someone goes, what would you rather win, Premier League or Champions League next season? I'm taking the league every day.
Yeah, all day. All day.
Just to be back in a league hunt would be ideal, really, because we haven't had that for so long.
December, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, mate, luckily we might be, mate, because there's no Christmas period this year because of the World Cup. So we could still be
back by Christmas. I swear.
I don't
know. See, I don't even know how long. Is there even a break after the World Cup final, or as soon as the final happened, we play Premier League 3 days later? I don't even know.
Oh man, I don't even know, mate. But I do know that there's not going to be a proper Christmas period because of the World Cup. So at least we might still be in a Premier League hunt potentially.
Maybe.
potentially.
Just quickly, I will say RD makes a fair shout in the comments.
Yeah.
Tuchel does have the hardest era with prime Liverpool and City.
Yeah, but having said that, would you agree though that Jose up against maybe a not a prime, well, not exactly a past it Ferguson, maybe not in his full prime, but a very good a very good Sir Alex and Wenger as well, maybe. I know Wenger was on the way down a little bit with Arsenal.
I mean, he took over just after Arsenal went invincible. So
yeah, so maybe it's different eras. Yes, Pep and Klopp have moved the game on with City and Liverpool, but I think
it's just
back
when teams regularly get 95 points plus. It's very difficult to challenge that because it basically means you can't lose more than a game or two and draw more.
I think Liverpool lost one game in the league this year.
Exactly, and they drew how many? Like 3 or 4?
6, maybe.
Maybe something like that. Let me check.
I think it was 6.
They drew 8, lost 2, and City drew 6 and lost 3. But this season they had 93 and 92 points, right? Last season they had like 99.
Mate, it's mad that you basically
100. Like
it's mad now that you basically. If you lose more than 2 games out of 38, you can't win the league, which is just ridiculous.
Exactly. So that part is hard, but maybe it's not necessarily the era. Maybe it's just how football, because the richer clubs have gotten even richer. At the same time, you look at the signings that Villa make, that Everton have made. I know Everton were in a relegation fight, but look at someone like Everton have signed players for 50 million upwards. Do you know what I mean? Like that's mental.
Yeah, mate, it's a mad one. But let's hope. I mean, Tuchel's got potential, but as you say, mate, he's very good at the moment. He needs to get some domestic trophies on the boards to work his way up. But yeah, mate, I think that seems like a good place to round out. I mean, 15 managers, 12 permanent, three interim, as it were. Hopefully, under Bowley, we can have a bit more stability and not go through as many managers. But who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, at some point we can update that list along the way. Guys, thank you so much for getting involved in the chat. Good bit of fun tonight. Enjoyed that one. So cheers for getting involved as always. Mate, thank you for joining me. Enjoyed that. Something a little bit different in the closed season. I was going to go American then and say off season, but closed season, off season, whatever you want to call it. Mate, thanks for your time, guys. Make sure you follow Laurenz on socials and subscribe to his channel. Mate, Alf, are you closing in on that 15K?
Yeah, we are. We did a good jump yesterday, or was it 2 days ago? Whenever we did the last stream yesterday. So we're doing all right. We hope to get there now. Didn't quite happen by the end of the season, but I'm hoping to get there before the start of the next season.
Yeah, mate, decent. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Link in the description. Special like on the stream. Please subscribe to the channel. If you're watching now, you're not subscribed, please click that button. Spread the word. 500 hasn't quite happened yet. It's edging closer. It's not many enough. There's about 15 or 16 to go. So please do
make it happen.
It needs to happen. Guys, make it happen. Just click that subscribe button. Spread the word. Tell your mates to do it.
Tell your mum, tell your dad, tell your nan. Do you know what I mean? Tell your dog if you need to.
Mate, send the link in all your group chats. Tell everyone to subscribe. Get me to that 500 mark.
Dog Instagram accounts.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a dog Google account and subscribe to Charlie.
Yeah, just subscribe to the channel. Just send it everywhere. Need to hit that 500 mark as soon as possible. Really appreciate all of the support. And catch you again soon, guys. Take care. Cheers.